Welcome back, everybody, to Reels, your podcast about everything movie and TV. I almost said video games. So today we're going to be talking about Catching Fire. We also watched Beetlejuice and that new David Fincher movie, The Killer. Is it The Killer or Killer?
The Killer.
The Killer. So stick around. I think it's going to be a juicy episode. There's a lot of news, a lot of trailers came out. It's just going to be a fun one. I can feel it. I have a movie thought that could turn into an hour talk, honestly. Do you want to do that?
I don't care, yeah.
Okay. So, I was watching a movie this week we watched two movies, actually, from, big directors. We watched a Burton movie and we watched a Fincher movie.
Correct. Okay.
One of those movies, I gave a 10. Spoilers, I gave a 10 to a movie this week.
I did too.
Nice.
Probably the same movie, I would assume.
It got me thinking, which of these directors that have a name, there's a reason people know these directors. It's because they usually put out good movies. Who has the most 10s? Who has the most 10s?
That's a hard one.
It's hard, isn't it? Because
my mind will go to Kubrick first.
So yeah, Kubrick jumps out. I feel like, even though he doesn't have a lot, but if it's percentage-wise,
he wins. But I also think 10s are different because I think the 10 that we gave this week is not. If you were scoring it based on a Oscar contender ballot, it wouldn't be a 10.
I don't know. I don't know.
There's a few things that it definitely could and should have been nominated for, but not Best Picture.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a different kind of 10. But then you have Kubrick, you have Steven Spielberg, who has just a huge
library
portfolio of stuff that you can just pick from. You got Jaws and stuff.
Yeah, and because he has so many movies, and most of his early movies are 10 quality. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot there. And then I feel like you have Nolan, and you have Cameron.
Yes.
You have Ridley Scott, and
you can throw Burton in there, honestly.
Yeah, Tim Burton.
Because of his signature style, when he perfects the how do I say this? Like the goth. When he perfects the gothic meeting the almost like pastel Eastery thing. When it's perfected and it's balanced, there are 10s.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, it just got me thinking how
I'd have to I've seen more Kubrick movies than you have, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And 2001's a 10. A Clockwork Orange is a 10. In my opinion, Barry Lyndon's a 10. You've never seen Barry Lyndon.
The Shining's a 10.
The Shining's a 10.
Eyes Wide Shut's probably a 10.
I've never seen it. I've always wanted to watch it.
I've seen bits back in the day when I was too young to be watching it.
Yeah. I feel like I'm missing a big one.
Full Metal Jacket.
I hate that movie.
I don't like that movie either.
Okay, well, we'll sit with 4 on that one. Because 10s are hard to come by.
They are.
Because even if you look at Nolan, right, you can go with The Dark Knight as a 10.
I mean, you can put Begins as a 10.
It's like a 9.5.
Okay. The Prestige.
The Prestige is a 10. Inception's a 10. That might be it. Oh.
I mean, 3 is impressive considering he hasn't made that many movies.
Yeah. I would probably give up Oppenheimer a 10.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. So we can't collectively do that yet.
Yeah.
But that's definitely the only other option. All you Interstellar people, just watch the movie again. Because I was one of you. I was like, yeah, Interstellar's the best space movie ever made. No.
Yeah.
It's not. Let me tell you.
And Dunkirk is good. It's not a 10.
Yeah, I don't like Dunkirk very much. It was boring.
And then Cameron, Aliens, is a 10.
Terminator 1 and 2.
Both 10s.
Yeah.
Titanic's a 10.
Yeah.
Avatar 2 is a 10.
I'll agree with you on that.
So he's winning right now. That's bonkers.
The Abyss. I've never seen it.
True Lies.
The Abyss is coming out in theaters, you see? For
Really?
its whatever anniversary.
That's fun.
They up-resed it to like IMAX level or whatever.
Dang.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either. It's the one movie of his I've never seen.
I do know from a guy that we both used to work with, the rat scene that can breathe underwater was real. It's a real liquid that you can breathe.
What?
It's just super expensive. That's why they could only put a rat in there. But they did human testing, and you can just breathe liquid.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Let's do Spielberg.
Okay.
Jaws. Raiders.
And
The Last Crusade.
What?
The Last Crusade is a 10.
I'm not a big Indiana Jones guy, so Close Encounters.
Yeah. Some people would say
Freaking War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds. Saving Private Ryan. Lincoln.
Banger
Yeah.
of a movie.
Jurassic Park.
Oh, that's an easy 10.
Yeah. I feel like we're missing something big.
No, people would be like, E.T.
Yeah, that's true. I ain't doing that.
I've never finished E.T. because it's so boring. Oh my god.
So I guess throwing your movies around is the way to go.
We haven't done Ridley Scott either.
That's true.
But he just likes to work. So he'll take crappy movies too.
Ridley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But he's got Alien.
Gladiator, Alien,
Gladiator.
Blade Runner.
I know there's something else.
I'm trying to think. I'm missing some. We are missing something.
Kingdom of Heaven?
You know, I've only ever seen the theatrical one. I haven't seen the 4-hour director's cut, which everyone says is a 10 out of 10. They said it's absolutely amazing.
Right.
Maybe we should watch that. But
I mean, I would give Prometheus close to a 10.
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about Prometheus. I think Prometheus is a 10, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I really like it.
Oh, The Martian's a 10.
Oh yeah, The Martian. His portfolio is wild. That's why it's so hard to remember.
I've never seen it. A lot of people would say his very first movie's a 10, The Duelists. You ever seen that?
Never
movie?
seen it either.
American Gangster is a good movie, but I don't like gangster movies. But I know people really love that movie.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything else that would go on here.
So Spielberg, at least from what we know, is probably going to end up
Off the
winning.
cuff, yeah. If we had probably seen old Kubrick's full repertoire.
I mean, Hitchcock probably has 3 or 4 10s, but he just doesn't pop up in my mind just because he's so before my time, you know?
Yeah. Kubrick did Spartacus as well.
Well, that's a 10.
Yeah.
The movie's fucking incredible. The one I don't know is Dr. Love.
Doctor Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove. I'm sure it's probably a 10, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, me neither. I'm sure if we delve into Steven Spielberg's more, there's a hidden 10 in there.
Yeah, and there's like also fucking ancient directors like James Whale, who did a lot of the...
Schindler's List was the big one.
Oh, yeah.
We were missing.
Who did a lot of the Universal horror movies, the good ones. He did Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and The Invisible Man. Those are all fucking, those are good-ass movies. And I know that he had movies before that got him the job, I'm pretty sure, and he just kept making movies. But I'm just not familiar with those old movies as much, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was a fun little thing to talk about.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about, especially because it's also like we'll probably get more into it when we come to the movie that we gave 10s, but there's different types of 10s. There's like a perfection 10, and then there's different types of 10s. There's different ways to review movies. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And because it's weird. I think it's always weird the fact that if you talk to someone, people who don't differentiate best from favorite, right? You can have I would assume most people's favorite movies is a movie they watched when they were kids.
Yeah.
And it's not the best movie they've ever seen. Because it's just a big difference. But then if you would give your favorite movie a 10.
I was like, all my favorite movies are 10s.
But personally, you would give it a 10, but, someone who doesn't have that nostalgia or like the movie as much as you do just won't. But then there's there's movies that are just so well done, Oscar-winning Best Picture movies that anyone can watch, and you're like, dang, that movie's perfect.
I have a hard time believing that people can watch The Terminator or Terminator 2 and not think that movie's perfect. I know people are out there.
That's crazy, though.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Especially Terminator 2.
Yeah, like because
I can even
so fucking.
I can see, like, Terminator 1. If you look at it and you really you have to pay attention in that one to really appreciate it and understand everything, because that's the first time you're getting introduced to that kind of time travel and stuff. But the second one, it's so well done. And it's one of those movies that it's so well done that you don't actually have to have your full focus to understand everything that's going on. And it's also a lot more entertaining than the first one, just as like an action movie. There's way more like awesome stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that first movie was pretty low budget and definitely has aged, Mm-hmm. But... like, some people will be out there like, don't like the Terminator. Like, you're fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's insane. It really is.
So what was your movie thought? Do you want to do one?
I have two, so I'll just do the short one. Because
Okay.
the one was just me being mean, but I'll save it for next week, probably. My one movie thought is that was the wrong app. I saw this thing on something. It's probably on TikTok. And it was talking about Scream 1. And it mentioned that Scream 1 might have the best third act of any movie ever. And I was like, does Scream 1 have the best third act of any movie ever?
We're about to go on another tangent here. Because, I mean, it is extremely good.
Because the first time you watch it, it's the first movie that's like, it is the first. Nowhere in your brain are you sitting there thinking that there's two people.
No.
And
so I just want to, because some people don't understand how acts work. The third act is probably, I would say, when they're at the party.
Yeah.
That's when it starts.
The whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. The third act is like the final build up to the climax and then the resolution.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, in that third act, spoilers for Scream.
Yeah.
Tatum gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dewey gets stabbed. We think he's dead.
Camera guy gets killed.
Guy's killed. I don't think it's Bob, is it?
I don't know. I think it is Bob.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna look it up, but I'm pretty sure it is.
We think Gail gets killed. Then we get the reveal that there's two of them, which is fucking bonkers. Oh, we think Billy gets killed too. Everyone, he red herrings himself and then gets stabbed to clear his name. It is a bonkers third act.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what his name is. I'm going to fucking guess.
Let me tell you, I would have never got it in a million years.
God damn it.
She says his name all the time.
All the time, too. I know. Like when she comes back to him and she's like, or he's like, wait, no, she is like, I know you're about 50 pounds overweight, but when I say move, that means get your double lard ass now.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is his name? You can tell me.
Kenny.
Kenny. God damn it. So yeah, that's a bonkers ass third act. What else compares? Terminator 2.
Yeah. Terminator 2 is insane.
Because that is once them and Dyson leave to go blow up Skynet, and it's the rest of the movie, and it is balls to the walls action the entire time.
Yeah, and then you have the chase scene into the foundry or whatever, a metal foundry, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you think they won because he froze in liquid nitrogen, and then he starts to melt again, and you're like, oh, it's not over.
Yeah.
And
it turns into a horror movie again.
Yeah.
Right there at the very end.
Yeah, because he's imitating Sarah to try and trick John.
Yeah.
And everything. You don't know which one's which, and she just starts shotgunning him. Man, it's so good. Man, it's so good.
What else has a fucking third act that could compare? Alien?
But see, what's the third act of Alien?
I
Is
think
that
it's
right after she thinks she's done it, and then she sees it? After she thinks she's already won and fine and safe?
no. That's only 10 minutes left of that movie. I think it's probably when they come up with the plan to blow up the ship and try to get out.
No.
Because that's when Dallas dies and the one chick that's been screaming the whole movie. So that probably doesn't win.
Sweeney Todd.
Nope.
What do you mean?
Nope.
Finally kills Judge Turpin in front of his daughter, who's dressed up as a man, doesn't realize his daughter, about to kill his own daughter, realizes that his wife has been alive this whole time, and Mrs. Lovett has, he's tricked into killing his own wife, realizes that Mrs. Lovett knew the whole time, so he kills Mrs. Lovett, and then Mrs. Lovett's little boy toy kills him too, and it's insane.
You're right, that is pretty insane.
It's
It's not as fun, though.
It's insane.
God, I had a good one. I can't think now.
Some horror movies are all third act, though.
Some horror movies, yeah.
Like
I mean,
the-
Halloween's third act is pretty good.
The Strangers. Well, that's not like best ever, but that movie's all third act.
Yeah. But I mean, Halloween, the third act is when she leaves the house. Right when she leaves the house in that movie
To go,
to go across the street
yeah.
to see what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And it is fucking incredible. Man, I think that Scream might be the best though.
It is a pretty, like, you can remember everything that happens in the final act of Scream.
Yeah, because like I keep thinking of decent third acts, and I'm like, it ain't as good as Scream.
Yeah.
That's bonkers. I mean, that movie.
Like, the closest is Terminator 2. That's Terminator 1, but Terminator 2.
Yeah. Spielberg's movies suck in the third act.
That's the thing, is most movies' worst act is the third act.
Yeah.
It's a super rare occasion, and it's usually a movie that's not even that good that has the third act that's the best.
Right.
The last movie with a third act is the best that I've seen was like Uncharted, which was a weird. Did you watch the Uncharted movie?
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. Well, the movie just gets better as it goes. It starts out bad, and it just gets better.
Yeah. I still don't like Marky Mark as Sully, though.
No, yeah, no.
It was bad. Yeah, I mean, I think it might be, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I think horror movies just tend to have better third acts, you know? Like, I just recently, you know, for the October bullshit, I watched Friday Part 2. That whole movie is awful. And then the third act, like, it was like a 4. And the third act was so good that I still gave it like a 7. So I think it just like
I've
a
only
horror
ever seen
movie
those
thing.
movies like one time each.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the third act was so good that I thought it was the whole movie. Like in my mind, it was
Oh, really?
it was the whole movie, and I watched the first 40 minutes of this movie, being like, "The fuck is this?" We'll think about it. We'll revisit next week if we come up with anything.
Yeah, I'll have to pay attention.
Because like yours was even harder than what I brought to the table.
Yeah, now it makes my other movie thoughts seem stupid.
All right, let's jump right into the news. I don't have a lot of news, but I did want to talk about a few things. Did you see that not only is Frozen 3, which we knew about, but they're also developing Frozen 4 right along with it?
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
Ay.
Disney is panicking and they're like, we have to do sequels. They're going to run everything into the ground.
See, I like Frozen 2 a lot. I liked it
Lower.
way more than everyone else that I went to see it with.
Yeah, I didn't. It was fine.
I thought it was just as good as the first one, personally. But
I mean, there is potential with that brand.
I like trilogies, but I think you're done after the third one. I don't think you should go on no fourth one.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the fourth one or the third one's like. But like, I think there's enough potential with the way they expanded the world into, where there's like, other season powers. Mm-hmm. We only saw fall though, didn't we? Fall and winter so far.
Yeah, and that was her mom, right?
I don't know. I've only seen that movie once.
Me too.
So like, potentially 3 could be about a summer, and 4 could be about a spring. But spring and summer seem like the same thing. One's just, well, I guess summer would be like hot, and spring would be like flowers. Yeah.
Summer's the leaves.
Yeah,
green leaves.
It's crazy that, so Bob Iger is the CEO. He was the CEO and he left, and then the other guy ran the shit into the ground. He was also a Bob. They were both Bobs. And they brought Bob Iger back to try to fix everything. And it's so shit that he doesn't know what to do. So he's just announcing sequels.
That's crazy.
It's funny.
Again, it's so... And all these new ideas they come up with just suck. So just... I don't understand where you lost who your idea makers were, where they go.
They died.
They died?
Well, they fired a bunch of people. Well, I think it's a fucking storm that's going over there at Disney. I think they fired a bunch of people that they probably shouldn't have fired. And then because of COVID, we were getting Pixar movies and Disney movies straight on Disney Plus. So it doesn't feel like you should have to pay for them anymore. But also the quality of, especially the Marvel and the Star Wars stuff, has just gone down tremendously. And I think it's just a perfect storm. And then he was waging war against the
Writers?
No, the writers, but also the Florida governor or senator or something. And that dude was trying to run for president, and he was like, and they raised all the prices in the parks. Some people they go to the parks religiously, and
yeah.
So that just pissed people off too. So it's just a perfect storm of
everything's
destruction.
It's going bad.
Yeah.
Because the Marvel and Star Wars happened at the same time. Like, it's just going bad at the same time. And then the fact that Disney itself is going bad too is insane. Like, all of their the 3 main properties are all doing rough.
Yeah. And on that note, my only other news article that I have is the Marvel's opening weekend. Did you see?
40 mil, right?
47 mil, the lowest ever.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, and they say it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
No one cares.
Yeah.
It's the fucking, this is the tipping point. It is, I think it's fucking done. If Deadpool doesn't make over $1 billion, but it's going to, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah. With Hugh Jackman back.
Yeah. So they could, I guess there is a course correct there, but am I going to go see Deadpool 3? I don't know. Could they win me back?
Totally trailer dependent.
Yeah. But they're freaking out over there.
I'm not going. If I'm going to see Deadpool 3, I'm going to really just to see Wolverine again. That's it.
Yeah.
I hate Deadpool, to be honest with you.
But, like, to put that in perspective, The Flash made more money in its opening weekend than this did.
Dang.
Or right at the same amount. Like, it is equivalent to what The Flash made.
Now, do you think that, because like do you think that it's just a lot of people don't like Brie Larson because of her political views, I guess,
She's very unlikable.
and
No one likes
that this is it's a lot harder to sell a female lead, especially just because like a female audience will go see a male-led movie, but a male audience, it's hard to convince them to go see a female-led movie. So you're down there.
Well, I think that and a lot of people didn't like
The first one.
Miss Marvel either.
Yeah. You got people who didn't like the show. You got people who didn't like the first movie, and so.
And if you look at, like you said, it's way harder to sell men on a female lead.
Yeah.
All of the movies that have a female lead that made money, like Terminator or Wonder Woman 1, they have a strong male co-star.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Michael Biehn.
Yeah.
Chris Pine as Steve Trevor. And I think that's something that Disney doesn't understand, because when they go feminist, they go full female. And I think that is a big factor, you know?
Yeah.
When, you know, this movie is all women. The first movie had Samuel L. Jackson even.
Yeah, this one has him in it, but he's not.
Yeah, he was like the secondary role in the first one, you know?
Yeah.
It just doesn't want, you know, like, people don't want to go watch that, you know, because they know it's going to be in your face. Barbie even had Ken, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, half that movie is his movie. Like, he won that movie, technically.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a balancing act, and I think Disney just doesn't understand that.
Yeah, they're trying to appease the minority voice, the smaller voice more.
And I hate when, because, like, I prefer a female lead, actually. All my favorite movies have female leads. Terminator 1. Alien. Scream. Like, though, like, I like female leads. I find it, I don't want to say more relatable, but I feel for them more, if that makes any sense. You know, like, because a lot of times a male lead, like in Die Hard, like, he's cool, but he's not, like, I don't feel like he's emotionally connecting with me, if that makes sense. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, but then on the, well, I don't know.
So, I don't like when people are like, oh, you just don't like female-led. No, I like female-led movies. But it just happens that all the female-led movies that I have a strong male supporting cast.
Yeah, well then all the female lead movies, though, that you like, you also like that actress outside of the movie as a person. So, like, nowadays, honestly, the only female-led movies is really Netflix's Millie Bobby Brown movies, because a lot of people like Millie Bobby Brown and she makes money, and so people will watch that. But also, in Enola Holmes, you have Henry Cavill as Sherlock in the movie, and then in another whatever, she's got a new one coming out where she's swinging a sword.
Yeah, so I don't like Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I don't like her very much either, to be honest.
But the new generation love her.
Yeah, and so I just think that's a big thing with the Marvels, is that people really just don't like Brie Larson.
She's not very likable.
Yeah.
And she's even got a face that, like, you can see not liking, you know? I'm okay with Brie Larson. I think she's a great actress.
She is a good actress, yeah.
But I can see why people don't like her, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess this is like a rumor, but basically news. is Pedro Pascal is probably going to be Reed Richards in the new Fantastic Four and the MCU going forward. How do you feel about this?
Well, I think it's bad casting.
I think it's bad too.
But I also don't think John Krasinski's a good cast either. Like,
I don't think he is
the
either.
whole internet's up in arms about. Because I'm a big Fantastic Four dude. You know, I love Fantastic Four.
Well, you're a big Fantastic Four movie dude.
Truth. Yeah, the comics probably are terrible. But I just don't know. Just get the dude back. The guy who played it in the first one. He's so good. Honestly, Miles Teller did a decent job. If you could just give him a better script or whatever, I'd be fine with him coming back.
Here's the thing: is Mr. Fantastic, is a dick in the comic books, and Miles Teller is a dick in real life, so it works. The other guy, is that the guy that's in House and
no,
he's not the guy from a Dead Poet Society. He just looks like that guy.
What are you talking about?
The guy from House and Dead Poet Society is the same.
He's in
fucking
Titanic.
Guy. Okay, but the guy from Dead Poet Society and House is the same dude. Not House.
Ethan Hawke?
No, the one that kills himself in fucking Dead Poet Society. And House's best friend.
Yeah, no. They don't even look alike.
They look identical.
Look, that's the dude you're talking about.
Yeah, that look just like fucking dude.
I'll show you him. You're going to be like, no, that's not. You telling me that looks like the dude that... No, not that. Jesus. 2005. What's his name? I can't even pronounce his name. They look identical. No, they don't.
Yeah, they look identical, bro.
They don't. Not at all.
What's this dude doing? He's Welsh.
I don't even know how to say his name, man.
That's because it's Welsh.
Is it an I at the beginning or an L? Oh, no, it's an I. Eowyn Grufford.
Yeah.
Grufford. I don't know what he's doing. I'll find it. But man, he's great. Like in my eyes, I don't know anything about the comics. Even if Mr. Fantastic is a dick, Mr. Fantastic is like an Iron Man level leader of the Avengers.
Well, yeah. But he's like cold and calculating. He's like, I mean, almost heartless in his leading, from what I know.
He's doing a lot of TV shows. He has 2 movies coming out. He's in Bad Boys 4. And another movie. But he's not doing, like, much.
So I just don't think that casting John Krasinski, who's like this big sweetheart, or Pedro Pascal, who is also, makes sense. I know it's acting.
Yeah, but Pedro Pascal was O'Byrne. So he can play that part too.
O'Byrne's not a dick though.
He is though, kind of.
He's not.
I mean, getting Pedro Pascal, they're gonna bring in an audience because he's like the man of the hour.
Yeah.
But then also you have to have you have 3 other people to cast. They have, I guess they're probably casting Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, which I don't think she works well with Pedro Pascal anyway, but I'm not a big fan of hers at all. She's only ever done one role that I liked, and that was in The Crown. And really casting the Human Torch is where you can't, it's the hardest part.
I think Doctor Doom is hard.
Who knows? Who says Doctor Doom is going to be their first villain?
Well, I mean, Doctor Doom is
just a friend.
Well, Doctor Doom is part of one of those Avenger movies. Like, he's supposed to be the big bad guy.
Yeah, that's real. Well, that's hard. I mean, it's always hard to cast because he's a Thanos level villain.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really fucking care, but I just think it's bad casting.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't want him to go. I don't know. Fantastic Four is such a weird one because I like the early 2000s movies so much, but then also think that they could go the first 40. I don't know if have you ever seen the Miles Teller one?
No.
Dude, the first like 30 or 40 minutes of that movie, like impeccable, so good, and then they get their powers, and then it's over.
Well, I know that that movie was reshot to hell, so I bet that's probably why.
Yeah.
Do you think that they were just like, who's big that has some gray hair?
100.
Like Pedro Pascal?
Yes. By far. Are they going to give Reed Richards his gray little sideburns?
Oh, yeah.
Nope. They're going to let him be peppered.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they're going to give him to him.
I'm trying to think if they had John Krasinski, if he had him, but I don't remember.
So there's some big trailers this week. We'll talk. I watched a couple. Well, I guess I watched one from a couple weeks ago. I watched Godzilla -1, the second trailer. I had been putting it off because I wanted to stay surprised, and I instantly regretted watching that fucking trailer because it looks so good, and it ended with a buildup of his blast, coming up his back.
Is it red?
No, it's blue.
Oh, really?
They don't show the blast, but what they did with the back was so fucking cool that I was pissed. And the movie looks, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely ain't watching the trailer. That's for sure.
And then I watched the Garfield trailer. Did you watch this?
No, I don't care about Garfield.
See, I don't really like Garfield either, but I was like, yeah, I'll watch it. And it starts off with him as a kitten and meeting John. And
is that is it all animated, or is there like a live action dude playing John?
No, it's all animated.
Okay.
And he's not talking yet. And I forgot that Chris Pratt was Garfield. And, he was just Mario. Mm. And he started talking when he was old, and I was like, what the fuck? Why did they do this? When he's Mario, now he's Garfield. This is fucking weird. But the movie looks kind of funny. It's about Garfield's dad coming back and trying to find Garfield, not for good reasons, it doesn't look like, and then they both get lost out, and he's gonna be a street cat after being such a fat spoiled house cat.
Him and his dad get lost together.
Yeah. So it looks decent, but I'm not a huge Garfield guy.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a single Garfield movie at all. All I know is that he likes lasagna.
Yeah, they meet at an Italian restaurant.
That's pretty funny.
Garfield was out at the window scratching, and John was eating spaghetti alone. And then he gets in there and he starts eating everyone's food. And then the big trailer, the Madam Web trailer. You watched this, right?
I did, yeah.
So, as someone who knows nothing and has not seen Venom or Venom 2 and thought
Morbius as well.
Morbius and thought Craven looked awful, this movie looks like it's all right.
Oh, so so I've seen Venom 1. I've seen Morbius, and I've seen half of Venom 2 because I couldn't finish it. I ain't watching Craven. This movie looks like the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm like, I don't even know how anyone watching this trailer looks at this and is like, yeah, I might go watch that. No. It looks terrible. And I've seen, Venom 1, terrible. Venom 2, unwatchable. Morbius, it's fine. I'm dead serious. People who think Morbius is worse than those are out of their minds.
I mean, I've seen probably 15 minutes of Venom 1, and I was like, this movie is awful.
Yeah. And, Venom 1 is a 3.5. Venom 2, didn't finish it, so can't say. 2. It's got high budget, so it can't get a 1. And
it can.
And then Morbius is a 4.5. And I really I'll stand by that. Morbius, I was actually entertained when I watched it. But this movie looks like a 1. This movie looks terrible. I don't even know what's going on. You got this
Dark Spider-Man.
Yeah, this Dark Spider-Man who I don't even know what his power is. You got Madam Web who can see the future, I guess. And then you have all these other people who don't even know they have spider powers. but then all the times when you see them in suits is not a time part of the. It's not part of the movie. That's just going to be her seeing the future. You will not see them in suits during the movie. They are not going to fight. I guarantee it.
Oh, I think they're gonna fight.
It's going to be stupid.
They're gonna fight because Madam Web doesn't have any powers.
They're bad. It's a bad team. Dakota Johnson's not acting as good as she can. It's just you can tell it's a bad script.
Are you sure? I think that's her. I think that's her match.
No, she's a good actress. You ever seen Suspiria?
No.
Yeah, she's decent.
I've been waiting to watch that because I want to watch the original first.
Yeah.
So I looked it up, like all the characters. Two of those girls are Spider Women, the second and the third incarnation, and then one of them's called Arachna or something.
Oh, I like that.
Madam Web doesn't really have any powers. She's usually old, like an old woman, and she just is clairvoyant. And the bad guy is just supposed to be like a billionaire level, or a billionaire dude who's like super strong and super smart. Maybe not even super strong, just super smart. And he just looks like an old white dude. And they turned him into evil Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's going to be bad. It's going to bomb so hard. I don't even know, did the Craven movie even come out yet?
No, it's not out yet.
Oh.
We just have a trailer.
And that's a Sony one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all connected. Yeah, the Craven movie was crazy too because his dad is a hunter in the trailer. And it's like trying to teach him, and he doesn't want to kill anything. And then a lion bites him, and he turns into the Craven.
Hey, that might be a true origin story, you know? Yeah. I don't know why Sony insists on trying to do these things.
Well, because they make money.
They make money on Tom Holland's Spider-Man too.
Well, they have to share that money, though, with Disney.
Well, yeah, but let Disney get the blame for all these bad movies, and you just rake in the money from it.
This is the dude that produces all these movies is the one that's producing. We just talked about it last week.
No, he produces the Across the Spider-Verse stuff. He doesn't produce these.
No, he produces all of them.
Oh God.
And what movie was that? Oh, the Zelda movie.
Yeah, God.
The Zelda movie gonna look like Venom and Madam Web.
It better take. They don't know what they're doing.
No, I can't believe Nintendo was like, you know who deserves the Zelda movie? Like fucking Sony.
Well, that's like in a video game area that they're really good friends, but movie wise, Sony Picture Classics as its own little thing is stand out incredibly. Like has a really good portfolio.
Yeah, that's true.
But just that.
Yeah, I think that I like the idea of all these villain movies if they tied into Spider-Man.
Well, the Venom does.
Barely.
He has he's been teleported to Tom Holland's world.
Well, he got teleported back, I thought.
Oh,
He got teleported there and went to a bar, saw Spider-Man on a television screen, and then got teleported back.
Yeah, but his symbiote is still, a piece of the symbiote's still there.
That's what happened.
That's what it is. So someone else is going to be Venom.
There were rumors that all of these villains, they were going to work Andrew Garfield in to be their Spider-Man. And have like an amazing Spider-Man 3. I'm like, that kind of works, but just the fact that Venom wouldn't look like that if he had never met Spider-Man is enough to know that these movies are stupid. Like, the whole reason Venom looks like he does is because he was attached to Spider-Man first.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about the movies. I don't think he has a spider on him, though. It's just he's just black.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Well, he still looks like Spider-Man, though. Like the
In
eyes.
the eyes, yeah.
All right. Did you watch any television shows?
Yes. So I've been trying to catch up on old Jujutsu Kaisen. I'll be quick. Saw TikTok. It was all over my TikTok. Everyone's like, this is the best season of anime ever. They said there's been no season of animes have better fights than Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. Right? And Gojo is like the Kakashi of Jujutsu Kaisen.
I don't know what that means. He's like the bad guy?
Their teacher.
Oh, the
Kakashi is their teacher,
okay.
We have a picture of Gojo up in our house somewhere. And he's considered the strongest. Like, him as himself is stronger than all of the rest of the Jujutsu sorcerers or whatever they're called. By himself, he's stronger than all of them. Like, as a collective.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has. But anyway, so I'm like, oh, this is gonna be dope, right? Because watching Gojo fight's insane. Like, they do a really good job. I'm not. There's like 17 episodes. I'm probably getting close to 10 in. It's fine. We watched Gojo fight. He did a few cool things. I just don't. I think people talking have not seen a lot of anime for them to realize.
They never seen Dragon Ball.
They seen Dragon Ball. I saw a list. I saved it because it was best fights in Dragon Ball Super, and it was their number one fight was Goku and Vegeta versus Gas. I don't even know who that is. I've never even heard of Gas.
So Gas is, he's like Cooler and Frieza, but a like fire version. They're all named like Heater and Gas, and they're like a different race. He looks cool. I haven't got that far,
but so I'm a little disappointed because I thought this was gonna be freaking dope, right? But there's still like, I'm only about halfway through. Now, Jujutsu Kaisen's under a lot of controversy right now. So the studio Mappa, big studio for anime, is in a lot of like everyone quit. They're like, we're done, and so they're not done with they're not done with season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. So people think we're just gonna end.
Nice.
And because they were getting overworked, the quality of the animation was going down and whatever, and they're like, it's almost like a strike kind of situation. And so that's interesting. We'll see what happens with that there, especially because now that Demon Slayer had a really bad season, everyone's realizing and Attack on Titan's over. Jujutsu Kaisen's like, aside from My Hero, is like the anime, you know? And so it's interesting to see what's going to happen with that. I hope it keeps going because it's like one of my favorite animes right now that's on. That's it for that. There's nothing really special. It's just a bunch of fighting going on. Whatever. We did find out, though, that Gojo's best friend, who was supposed to, is like the main villain. We found out it's not actually him. There's a demon brain that took over his body. And so it's not, this whole time you think it's like his friend turned on him. He's actually being controlled, which is interesting.
So he's Majin.
He's the only other like Jujutsu sorcerer who's like on Gojo's level, even remotely close. Yeah. And then I watched The Crown came out. I'm a big Crown guy.
I thought it was over already.
Nope, I had one more season left. I thought it was over too. I don't know why I thought it was over, but the season
what
came
is
out.
This like till she dies?
I think she's gonna die halfway through because she's already with. I've only seen one episode, so pretty much last season was about Princess Diana and her separation with Prince Charles. Right. This is about her relationship developing with Dodi, which is the guy she was with
when they died.
Yeah, he was a film producer. He produced a lot of big name movies. His dad's super rich, like a billionaire, and so she meets his dad. But yeah, so right now, the first episode, she like is hanging out with Dodi, and then it's like the start of their relationship. He's 3 weeks out from getting married to some other lady who's a no one that his dad doesn't approve of, and his dad's like, you should go for Princess Diana, and so they're about to start dating. It'd be dumb to end, because in the trailer for it, it shows Prince Charles watching TV, and he turns, and he's like, this is going to be the biggest thing ever. And so the show's not going to be interesting unless we see the fallout of at least 2 episodes after. So I'm hoping, because the show starts with the crash.
Oh, really?
You watch the guy's walking his dog in France, and you see the car, and you hear it, it goes into a tunnel, you hear it, and then crash, and then you see all the paparazzi mopeds right behind it, following it. And that's how the show starts, and then it says 8 weeks earlier. So I'm assuming at like some half point, because we've already gone through a whole week in this first one, so it's real interesting. The last season was really not, it was like not good for the Crown standards, but it's, decent for any kind of TV show.
Yeah.
But it was very boring and stuff. The old stuff's way better. Like when they're in World War II and everything, and you got all these spies in the whatever her house is called. I forget.
I can't think of what
Buckingham Palace.
That's what
yeah. And that's all true. Like they do, like, because it's old enough that they can release it without getting whatever. So all this Princess Diana stuff, we're not getting the juicy stuff because it's still too new for them to release the juicy.
They can't tell you that Prince Charles had her murdered.
Yeah. He's my favorite character in this. Because I obviously there's been 3 different actors playing each role because they age up. Olivia Colman, man, she was the best as the queen. But this new era, because Prince Charles it's all about Prince Charles, and Princess Diana, the queen's not in it. It's played by the lady who played Miss Umbridge in Harry Potter. It's not about the queen. I'm just like, not about it, because the whole time we've been following the queen. Claire Foy did an amazing job. Olivia Colman obviously always does an amazing job. And now she's just kind of just sitting in the stands watching as, all her kids have all the drama.
Yeah, I've never watched the show.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
You learn some interesting stuff. Like
Yeah.
when they found I think it was during the Cold War, and a new prime minister was appointed, and stuff started getting leaked to the Russians. And the queen puts out a whole investigation on the prime minister because he went to college in Russia, and accuses him, and she's like getting ready to fire him, blah, blah, blah. And then...
Can she fire him?
I don't know. And the whole... Someone in her like, cabinet, I don't know what the terms are, put out his own investigation of just people in Buckingham Palace, like servants and stuff, and finds out that her art director, who'd been with her for like 30 years, and all his job was to come there and be like, hey, we're having a party in this room of the Buckingham Palace. What artwork are we going to put up? And that was his job. He put up the artwork in there for the parties. He was the spy, and because they couldn't be shown as weak during the Cold War, they let him... He kept his title. They never punished him, but they just locked him in a room in Buckingham Palace and said, yeah, he's doing his job. For like 18 years.
Damn.
Because they could not reveal to the public that a Russian spy had gotten into Buckingham Palace.
That is kind of fun, but...
Yeah. All that stuff that you learn is freaking cool.
It ain't 10 hours worth of my time. I watched one episode of Chucky, episode 3. And you're going to kick yourself for not watching this, because...
I mean, go and watch it.
It's the flashback episode. We get to see what happened in that year with Nika and Tiffany and everything.
What?
And it is fucking incredible. And something happens in it. I literally can't talk about it. If something happens in it, you're going to lose your fucking mind. You're going to be like, what the fuck? I was sitting there with my kid watching it, and I literally jaw on the floor for 10 fucking minutes. I could not believe what I was watching.
Was she the same?
Who? Nika?
No, you're...
Oh, Evelyn?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is good. It is... The show is incredible.
I'll get that watched today, or not today. But
There's only 5 episodes out right now, so I'm gonna watch...
5 total?
Yeah, so I'm gonna watch the other 2 this week.
Yeah. I'll make that a priority.
I'm gonna leave all these notes because I want to talk about it. But that's all I watched, so I can't really go in depth.
Gotcha.
All right. So let's jump right into the rewind.
Well, I have an extra movie.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I watched an extra movie. I'm sorry. So I finally finished Downsizing.
Okay.
So let me tell you, this movie's not what I thought it was.
That's what everyone says. It's not what you think it is.
No, yeah. Like, you think it's like, oh, yeah, he shrinks and his wife abandons him in that, and then it's probably about him trying to find love. Not at all. So, interesting thing the movie did. This movie's a very dark comedy. A lot of dark stuff happens, but they make it decently funny. So, like, when he wakes up from getting downsized, finds out his wife left, and he calls her on the phone, and she tries to. He's just like, you need to come down here and we can talk.
Do they have little phones?
Yeah, it's a phone his size.
Oh, okay.
While he's down, he's like, you need to come down here and we can talk about this and blah. He's all angry and stuff. She's like, imagine how I feel. She's like, I can't look at you all little and stuff. She's like, I'm already feeling terrible for what I did. I can't go there and do that. Imagine, like, think about my feelings and stuff. I'm like, God dang. I was like, he downs, whatever. But it was crazy. One thing they do is that's the last time you see her in the whole movie. She gone. That's the last time you see a big person in the whole movie. It's all downsized from there on out. And then he really freaking meets like an activist who's stuck in. She was an activist in Thailand, and as like a government punishment, they freaking cut her leg off and then downsized her against her will.
Damn.
And she's working as like a cleaning lady, but she was super famous on TV and stuff. And literally after that, it's like a world-ending movie. So it's the gist of it is the world's gonna end in like 200 to 300 years because of this gas that's releasing in Antarctica. And so the guy who invented downsizing is like, well, we have the solution because we're so small, we can live underground. And because you're so small, it's like the world can work underground because we don't produce as much CO2 and all this bullcrap. So we can go right now and start our colony for like 8,000 years underground, and you can be a part of it, or he can be with that activist lady that he met and help the people who are alive right now. And so it's like, do you go be a part of the people who are trying to save the world, or do you just pretty much help the people now, even though they're not going to experience the world ending because it's going to be 200, 300 years? That's what the movie's about. It's freaking weird.
That is weird.
But it is an interesting question.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of boring. I think I gave it a 6. Yeah, no, it was just.
It is an interesting question, though.
Yep.
Is it fleshed out, though? Or is it because they messed with all this downsizing for half the movie? Is it don't spend enough time on that question?
Yeah, so so when they downsize, they have the money to be really rich.
Right.
Well, they get a divorce, so he doesn't have the money. So now he's working as one of those people who answers phones, and he doesn't have his wealthiness and stuff. That's how he meets her, so then he sees the poorer side of Leisureland instead of the rich side, and so it really fleshes out like helping these people in need who can't help themselves because they're old or whatever.
Yeah.
And he really sees the real world that way. And then kind of the guy who invented downsizing is super famous, obviously. And he's in charge. He's leading the charge of the people going underground. But it's almost like a cult. Like, they're not announcing it, it's not big news. And they are like a cult. And even Christoph Waltz is one of the main characters, and he's just like, oh, they're crazy. He's like, they're like a cult. He's like, they're going to go down there and not last as long as us because they're going to kill each other in 50 years, And so it doesn't flesh it out that way. And it really is like, because Matt Damon falls in love with the girl, too. Like, as he's helping her help people.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like he can choose to help people, but he also found the girl he loved, or he can go help be a part of saving the planet. It's not as well done as it could have been.
Yeah,
I guess.
I get that. All right. So now onto the rewind and Beetlejuice. So what'd you think?
Betelgeuse.
It's still Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Well, me and my wife had this conversation. Why did he title it Beetlejuice like that instead of not the way it's really spelled?
Well, that's how the star, that the supernova is spelled.
Oh, yeah.
And it's called Beetlejuice. I think he just liked it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I did research. I couldn't find anything, but they did talk about the star. Well, I mean, this movie is fantastic. There's really nothing wrong with the movie. I did find hidden moments of comedy that I never noticed before. Like it's all Alec Baldwin not being able to read. Seriously.
Yeah, it's funny as fuck, isn't it?
Handbook for the recently diseased. I was like, that was freaking hilarious.
The movie's very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the movie is incredible. I rewatching it, I appreciate how tight the script is, even though it's a bonkers premise. Like, it's a tight movie.
Yeah.
And maybe the most unique movie, at least the most unique ghost movie ever made. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it is a bonkers movie. And the way that it comes together and actually works is incredible.
Yeah, this is just like him having a crazy idea in his head and like, let's just roll with it. I love it.
Yeah. So rewind, we go full spoilers anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just wanted to talk about at least the opening. It's a miniature flyover over the town with the credits.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the miniature flyovers to the drone shots nowadays.
Well, so I think that when I watched it, I think it starts as a helicopter flyover, and then they transition to a miniature right at the end for their house.
I don't think
the grass looks real.
I think it's a
until
miniature.
It hits the house.
I think it's a miniature the entire time.
You really do?
Yeah. I don't think the cars, there's no cars and no people moving. It's just a miniature, but it looks better than an actual shot from a drone. I don't know why. The drone shots always look cheap.
You can artificially light the miniatures however you want.
Is that what it is?
Nice. Yeah.
Well, I like it more. I think we should go back to miniatures. Fuck the drones.
They're so expensive.
Drones are expensive.
I don't know why they say that. All these people, all the people in Hollywood are like, man, miniatures are so expensive. And I'm like, are they?
I mean,
it's just a bit of foam and some wood.
I don't think it's expensive. I think the people making it is expensive. Yeah.
What, you're paying the guys to do the, I guess a drone and a helicopter getting it done is not that bad.
Yeah.
It's just a pilot and a cameraman. Or a drone. You could just do a drone.
Yeah, and one dude flying it.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. Because you can't get there are drones that can carry big cameras. But just fork over the money to get a helicopter ride. It can't be that expensive. I mean, you can get a helicopter ride for like $200 a person. It's not that hard.
The helicopter with you. The helicopter ride shots are better than the drone. The drone shots always look. I think it's because it's filmed with a GoPro. You know.
They're not. No, that's what I'm saying though. They make drones that are so big that they can hold a camera that weighs 40 pounds.
I mean, yeah. But
the problem is, do they use those?
I really like the miniature more.
Yeah, the miniatures are fun, and it's also like, obviously in this one specific scene, you're allowed to come to the realization that it is a miniature.
Yeah,
and they also make, I think when it goes up to their house, they make the grass look not as real because they want the audience to realize it's a miniature before the hand comes in, but you can never tell. And especially like using miniatures for explosions. Like we just had you still haven't seen it, but Oppenheimer used a lot of miniatures for the explosions and debris and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so impossible to tell unless you analyze it multiple times.
Yeah. I wonder if, because this is one of his early movies, like before he was a big a big name yet. I wonder if he was like, I'm gonna make a miniature of this whole town, and they were like, that's expensive. And you're like, no, it's gonna be for the whole movie. Don't worry about it.
yeah, right. It's like it's a whole. He does use it in every scene.
But talking about how tight the script is, and it's a lot of it's visual storytelling. When they're driving to the store, you see that loose dog running in the street.
Yeah.
And then it's why they swerve on the way back. I was like, it's just good, you know? You don't get that kind of shit anymore. Nowadays they would make it a point to be like, oh my God, watch out for that dog in the road on the way in, and then there it would be on the way back.
Yeah. And they don't even point out the dog when it's running in the street. It's just there.
Yeah, it's just there. Like, you might miss it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how little setup there was in this movie. Like, I remember it being more exposition-y, but they just die and you're just in it, like, right away. But it all works. It's a fascinating movie.
Well, you're learning as they learn, kind of.
Yeah.
That's like how it's set up.
Right. This is a movie I wish I could watch for the very first time again. It may be number one on my list. Because we talk about this every now and then, usually outside of the podcast. Like, just a movie you would like to watch for the very first time. You know, like, fresh in your mind, you know? Or, you know, like, experience your first watch again. I think this would be incredible, watching it for the first time again.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, like, I think my mind would explode if I got to watch it. Beetlejuice doesn't show up until halfway through this movie.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Don't you get his hands for early on?
Yeah, you get like back shots of him reading the newspaper, or his hands grabbing playing with the fly. But like, he isn't actually in the movie until literally halfway. When he first showed up, I clicked it just to see, and it was 45 minutes in, and the movie's an hour and a half.
Dang.
This movie is PG.
I know, that's what I told my wife.
It's PG, and he says no, nice fucking model in the movie.
Yep.
What?
When that, because I saw, because this movie's on Tubi, right? It was on Tubi. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when the ads get over, it always pops up the rating right afterwards. And I noticed the PG. And then when he said that, I turned to my wife and I was like, this is a PG movie.
I did the exact same thing.
And she freaked out, looked out. She's like, no way. And yeah.
So apparently you're going to have one in a PG movie too.
Back then, yeah.
The musical number may be the best musical number in any movie ever. I think it's that good. Go ahead.
Yeah. Speaking of the musical number, the acting in that is incredible because the way that they have to be able to dance, but emote that they don't.
That they can't control their body.
They can't control it. And I'm like,
awesome.
How are you pulling this off when I was watching it this time? It's something that never came to my mind.
Yeah.
But this time I saw it, I was like, God. Because, like, it's between the, the main two.
The mom and the dad.
Yeah. And I was like, dang, they are selling this so hard. They're acting their balls off. And, it really is incredible.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, the whole time I'm watching this movie, I just have a big grin on my fucking face. Like, that's how... Like, I don't know how you could watch this... I don't know how you could watch this movie and not like it, honestly.
Yeah. And there's stuff that's so funny. You really gotta pay... You won't see it on your first watch. But, like, the one I noticed... Lydia writing her suicide note. I never put this together. Yeah. She's writing her suicide note, and she doesn't like how it sounds, so she rips it out. Like... No one writing their suicide note cares how it sounds if they're really gonna commit suicide.
Yeah, she was making it seem extra emo. I love that the music goes fucking crazy sad too.
Yeah,
and it is a good scene. It's very funny. Michael Keaton is like, this may be his best role.
Yeah, he definitely should have deserved an Oscar for this role. This is the best iteration of like a ghost or a demon that just a harbinger of chaos that doesn't do like horror-y like murder and stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's just so random. He's so crazily random where he's just like hoo hoo ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And it's just like what is going on? But it works so perfect.
Yeah, it really is. It's so good. I enjoyed, like, I obviously knew I loved this movie. I enjoyed rewatching this so much that I have faith in the second one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because, who is it? It's either Catherine Zeta-Jones or Monica Bellucci's cast as his wife.
Monica Bellucci.
And they mention his wife in this movie. Remember? When he goes to marry Lydia?
Yeah.
He's like, I know I said I was only going to do this once or whatever. And blah, blah, blah. He's like, don't worry, darling. She meant nothing to me. And whatever.
I wonder if she's going to have her finger missing.
Yeah. That'd be super cool.
So I looked it up, and Catherine O'Hara's coming back. Winona Ryder, and obviously Michael Keaton. I really wish that they got Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin, but
Neither one.
At least, not that we know of. But I still think that it has potential, you know? It really does.
Yeah.
And Brad Pitt's producing.
He just produces good movies.
Yeah. So I have faith, which I had never had faith. It was one of those movies where, I mean, they've been talking about this sequel since that movie came out. They've been trying to fucking make this movie. Originally, it was supposed to be Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian or some shit. Like, it was going to be an awful movie. And I've always said they should not make a sequel. I'm down.
This was the movie this week that I just didn't want to watch just because it was like kind of Halloween-y and we just got done with the October thing. And also I was like, God, I've seen this movie 1,000 times. I said, maybe I can just not watch it and just get away with it.
You're glad you watched it, aren't you?
I did, yeah. It came on. I was like, yeah, I'm having a good time.
Instantly. You're instantly like, yes. It's just pure entertainment from front to back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, I forgot about this, but this is like our uncle Timmy. He used to say, "Not so fast, round boy. We're gonna have some laughs."
Yeah,
all the time. And I was like, "This is where it's from." I'm gonna start calling anytime. I'm gonna start saying that to my son when he gets bigger, because he's already a little fatty. Yeah. I wish they could get Otho back. He died in 2010.
Oh.
Did you know he's the voice of the mayor in Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yeah, I didn't know Catherine O'Hara was the voice of Sally and Shock.
Yeah, that's crazy too, isn't it? My wife was like, I know her from somewhere. I was like, that's the mom from Home Alone. She was like, oh. Yeah. She's great.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they got her back, honestly. You know, like, I mean, obviously she would take the part. I just can't believe they asked her back. Because it just doesn't seem like...
Well, she's the grandma. It's about Lydia and her kids.
Yeah, but that's Lydia's stepmom. You know?
Yeah, but her real mom's dead.
Yeah. But, like, Gina Davis is, like, her real mom now.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to have to see. I saw some leak set pictures from Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah, I saw the one with, like, Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, like riding a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I like that it's up in New England during fall. Love that. So what did you end up giving this movie?
A 10.
Yeah, I gave it a 10 too.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this movie at all.
Yeah, it is very good.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to try to explain his shrunken head in the second one?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, when I was watching it, I was like, for the second one, I wonder if they're going to open with him with a shrunken head and then try and get him to expand it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or if he just has a shrunken head the whole time, I think it'd be
if he had a shrunken head the whole time, it'd be so funny. I would die if that's what it was like.
God, no way. They don't got enough balls to do that.
But don't show it in the trailer. Just have him have a normal size head, and then when you get to the theater, it's just little the entire time. But yeah, this movie is a 10 out of 10. I argue a lot that this movie is Burton's best or second best movie. I think Big Fish is technically his best movie, even though I like this one probably more. But like some people try to throw Edward Scissorhands in there, and others are like Beetlejuice is better than all those. It's better than Batman. It's better than Edward Scissorhands. It's better than Mars Attack. Like,
I will say that I love Sweeney Todd. So Sweeney Todd's my favorite Tim Burton movie, but this is there's only 2 movies where he gets that perfect balance, and it's this movie and Edward Scissorhands. Yeah. He gets that perfect balance of his style with, it's just his style. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but
it's goth suburban.
Yeah, and then those 2 movies that's where he nails it, and I like Beetlejuice more than Edward Scissorhands.
Me too. Your wife review this?
Oh yeah, good thinking.
My wife. This was the second time she watched it. The first time she was like, eh. This time she was like, it's pretty good. But she'd probably give it like a 7. She's a psycho.
My wife says, an all-time classic. I love the style of the movie, and the clay style animation is my favorite thing. 10 out of 10.
I do like the stop motion animation.
Yeah.
On all of the stuff.
It's just so great.
Yeah. All right. On to the series showdown, where we are watching the second Hunger Games movie, Catching Fire.
Dun, dun, dun.
So what'd you think?
Let me tell you, man. This is a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
It's so good. I feel how you felt watching the first one, right? Watching this one. And the freaking... are we going into spoilers on this right away?
Yeah.
The freaking... Her just chilling, right? She's with Gail again in the beginning and stuff. And then she comes home. And then her mom is like, how was your walk, dear? And then her sister's like, we have a special visitor. And she rolls up into her office and President Snow's there. I'm like, poof.
Yeah.
It's like seeing that for the first time is insane. You're like, dang, like we're getting into it right away.
Yeah.
Love it. And
yeah, President Snow is like a top 10 villain.
He is so good. He's so good. And man, I don't know. I have so much good stuff to say about this movie. Like, this movie's just really, really incredible.
Yeah.
And it's so weird because I said I'm a hyper focus on the Gale versus Peeta thing. You start this movie and you're like, yeah, she still loves Gale, which she does. And if she never was in the games, Gale's who she would have been with and would have lived happy. But this is the movie where Peeta's like, oh yeah, I'm a contender really now.
It's like when you live through something like that together, what can you do? You can't fight it, you know?
Yeah.
And I have a note in here that they are just so cute together. You can't not want them to be there. I don't understand people that want her to be with Gale. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a half and half right now.
Because like when they're on the tour and she can't sleep, she's having nightmares, and he comes in and he's like,
or she asked him to.
She asked him to stay, and I was like, they're adorable.
They're adorable. Yeah, this is also the first time where her Effie and Hamage and them really feel like a team when they're going through the victory tour. And there's so many good subtle scenes in this movie. So like when Effie and Cinna show up to their house to do the very first thing of their victory tour, and Prim just like all these people show up and they're all dressed weird because they're from the capital, and Prim just looks at her sister and is just like, Katniss, because she's like freaking out, and that's it. That's all she says, and then the scene just ends.
Yeah,
she just, and Katniss just looks at her. She doesn't even say anything, and I'm just like, dang, like it doesn't even have to be in there, but because it is, it's really nice.
Right.
And my favorite scene in all of Hunger Games is in this movie. It's a big moment.
Right before she goes up.
Right before she goes up. Then President Snow getting mad at Cinna for doing the Mockingjay dress and freaking killing him right before.
Yeah, just to fuck with her right before she gets up there.
Yeah. God, it's so good. And so unexpected too.
I remember reading the book and it's literally just like that. And it's the end of a chapter. And like I was reading it and it was like 2:30 in the morning. I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
Because it's that fucking good.
Dude, I couldn't imagine reading the book and just getting to the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was like that.
This book's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie is very sad though. Like the whole world is just very sad. This setting is very sad.
Yeah.
I about lost it twice. I don't think I'm gonna make it through the next movie without crying. Or the next two.
Yeah.
Because I teared up in the first one. Like, welled up. Didn't tear, I guess. And then in this one, it happened twice. And I don't think I'm gonna manage, honestly.
When did it happen in this one?
When they're talking to Rue's parents. And then, I mean, it's just very touching. I was watching it very high. Where was the other one?
When Phoenix
old lady died, I think, maybe, yeah. Or I think there was something with the what are the birds called? The jabberjays?
Yeah, yeah.
When they were making it sound like Prim was dying, just knowing what happens, I was like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah, this gets me so pumped for the next two movies because my favorite part is the little snippets we get to see of PETA when he comes out on TV.
Yeah. And
it's so terrible, but it's like God, it's this, how do you say, like, even though President Snow's a bad guy, he is such a good strategist that you can't not be impressed by like how he handles everything.
Yeah.
And that is like a great way to. It's just so good, man. It's so good.
Yeah. I forgot, I guess, that she really does try to calm everything down at first. Like, she goes the whole tour trying to calm it down. But things out of her control just snowball, And he still takes it out on her. And that's when she's like, all right, we're going to fight, Yeah. But I remember her, in my mind, I remember her being a little defiant throughout the tour. And it was not like that at all.
I was the same way.
Yeah.
When they go to when their victory tour ends at the Capitol and he gives his big speech and then she turns to look at him afterwards and he just shakes his head no.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't convince me. He's like, it's going down.
Yep.
I'm like, God dang, this is good.
He's good. It's good.
Yeah. There's a weird part of the movie though that I didn't quite get is that District 1 and 2 people are all about joining hands and doing everything with the other victors before the games. And then after the games, they're all about killing and trying to stop her. And so I'm like, that's a little weird that they would, like, when they join hands and all raise them up and stuff.
Well, I think it was more like, if we can stop this, let's try. But now that it's not stopped, and I'm sure, I don't think it's ever said, even in the books, I'm sure President Snow was like, with the 1 and 2, like, you kill her, we'll make your life easy. Mm-hmm. Because District 1 and 2 end up on the Capitol side during the war.
Yeah, okay.
So I think it was just all the victors trying to come together and stop the games right beforehand. And afterwards, it was like, we'll see if they start fighting. And those were going to be the first people that we're going to,
Yeah, well, she kills both ones in the first 30 seconds of the games.
Well, the one gets shot in the knee, I thought. But then she does...
Oh, you're right.
then the one does die. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love how in the book it's like this too. She thinks everyone's like Haymitch has talked everyone into saving PETA. And it isn't until the very end when she realizes they're all just saving her, and it pisses her it pisses her off. Dude.
Yeah, yeah. And then everyone's just like, when the hidden person sacrifices himself to save PETA.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the heck?
Right.
And it's just like we learn as they learn, and really it's Jenna Malone's character who's just like, I saved these two for you, and blah 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 blah. And she's like, for me? What do you mean? Like, it's so confused. And yeah, it's a good reveal.
Yeah.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman's character plays well.
Yeah, because well, I don't think I guess you find out right at the end that he is from District 13, and he infiltrated the Capitol because they had this idea of making her this symbol. He might have already been planted. I don't remember, but like either way, he might be a spy that they were just like, go volunteer to be the game maker, because no one would take that job after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a great character. Jenna Malone's character is great. It's a shame she's not going to be in the next ones as much. But like, there's just tons of great characters. Finnick's great.
Yeah.
And then in the next movies, we get to see Prim kind of bloom, which is fun too. And I'm excited. Like, I remember being a little disappointed with part 1 when I originally watched it, but like, I'm so fucking in on this movie now, on this franchise. I am excited.
Yeah, I'm quite excited to watch both of them. I'll probably watch them both I might watch them both on the same day, but I don't know.
Yeah, and we've decided that we're gonna watch The Mockingjay, part 1 and 2 this week.
I almost said Breaking Dawn.
And then we're gonna watch the new one next week.
Songbird and Snakes or whatever.
Yeah, the Ballad of Songbird and
Kind of
Snakes.
same director from Catching Fire on. Same director on all 4 movies.
Nice. And we're going to see President Snow and why he becomes bad.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's about. I'm very excited. What did you end up giving this movie?
A 9.
I gave it an 8.5.
Yeah, I really like this movie a lot.
Yeah. I give
So
the first
you
one.
gave it the same one, an 8.5 as the first one?
I did, yeah. You're right. I should bump this up. I'm bumping it up to a 9. Because I really like the first one, but this one is better. I'm not sure that any of these movies are gonna be below an 8.
Yeah, I don't know. I've only ever seen the last 2 one time.
Yeah, me too.
I know I had seen Hunger Games 1 more than once. I know I saw Catching Fire more than once. But
Yeah, Mockingjay Part 1 is the only one that could be under an 8. Because I know Mockingjay.
I feel like I like that movie more.
Oh no,
Maybe
Mockingjay Part 2 is good.
Which one is Part 2 the one in the sewers?
Yep.
Oh, never mind. I like that movie. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then
I don't know if I remember anything from the first one.
That's
Part
'cause
one is like they're at war, working their way to get to the capital, and then part 2 is just like in the capital.
Essentially, yeah. Like part 1 is a lot of the in the bunker at District 13 and learning about District 13 and making propaganda films on the way towards,
Yeah. Okay. I'm excited to watch them
back to back.
back to back.
Yeah, me too.
Or like within a day of each other.
Yeah, and the payoff at the end with her and President Snow, it's gonna be, it's just so fucking good.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok of it for some reason. It just popped up because we're talking about it. I guess. And I was like, "Dang, that was good." Man.
Yeah, it's good. Do you have a wife review on this? Oh, she's refusing to watch these movies, isn't she?
Correct.
Because she's a psychopath.
Yeah.
Rather watch Twilight. Her words.
That's what she said.
All right.
Do you not have a wife review?
My wife has stopped giving reviews.
Oh, okay.
She did watch, or she fell asleep actually. In this movie, and she was like, "I'm gonna have to rewatch a movie before the next one," so she still has to watch the second half.
Oh.
On to the main movie this week, David Fincher's Netflix movie, The Killer.
With old Mikey Mike.
Mikey Mike.
Yeah, Michael Fassbender.
M. Fazzy B.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
So what did you think about this movie?
I actually quite liked this movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I liked it so much I told our mom to watch it. Even though she was already gonna, because she has a big old crush on Michael Fassbender.
I like Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, he's so great. This is the movie. Talk about leading men. He can lead a mother of a movie.
I feel like we should have known this already.
Yeah. No, yeah.
But people don't watch his movies. He's got one of those. He's got one of those curses on him. I feel like
the Adrian Brody curse.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's weird, but he is I'll watch anything he's in.
Yeah, he's good.
Let me tell you. You know this is a David Fincher movie when you're watching it, just because he has a style that he shoots in, and like this is it.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's like it looks it doesn't look like there's anything special going on. I think it's yellow lighting or something weird.
It's like everything in the world is clean, but it's filmed dirty.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
But even this movie, like, you can tell, especially when he's in the beginning, when he's in the like construction site, just the way things are lit, the way he's almost like haloed in the middle of the shot. It's weird.
Yeah.
But you can tell, and I like it. It's intense.
I do like it.
It's real intense. This is like, there's not a single person who could have done this role better than Michael Fassbender. I feel like he just looks the part. He's perfect.
Well, this is kind of a variation on David from Prometheus. Like a cold, calculated, logical machine.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably what got him this role, honestly.
Yeah, and honestly, this movie just made me want to have a third David movie, honestly.
Yeah, which won't happen.
No.
Sad days. There's so much... it's hard to talk about this movie, but this is I feel like this movie is the only movie I've ever seen that made me believe a hitman could exist in the modern day world.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was. It was like, you can understand how hitmen were in the 20s and in the 40s and then even in the 70s.
Yeah. Oh, I could kill someone in the 20s and get away with it. I could be a serial killer and never get caught.
All you have to do is not be seen.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do in the 20s.
Yeah.
You know? In the modern age, it is hard. And I think that's what this movie was like. Like, this is how it would be done.
Yeah. And it is how it would be done. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, hitmen will take notes on this movie. Yeah, I don't... There's a lot of comedy in this movie, too. At least I thought it was a comedy. I read a review on this movie. They gave it a 6 or a 7 out of 10. And they were like, the movie is supposed to be serious, but there's a lot of funny parts. I'm like, no, it's not. It's supposed to have these are clearly comedic parts.
Yeah.
And the alias joke is hilarious. I don't know if that's supposed to be a joke, but I thought it was so funny. What? Every time he pulls out a card or whatever, it's a different name.
No, it is supposed to be.
It's super funny.
It's supposed to be funny, I think. So I think that you like this movie a little bit more than I did.
I know I did.
I have tonal issues with the movie, but not necessarily with the joking, because I think to be a hitman you have to have a sense of humor. I feel like, I feel like you have to.
I read that, what did you say? WWJWBD. What would John Wilkes Booth do? That is so freaking funny. I bust out laughing so hard.
It was funny. Well, let's it is hard to talk without going into spoilers. I will say it is essentially John Wick, but gritty and realistic.
Oh, way realistic.
Yeah. Like it's the premise, but done like it was an actual real life occurrence.
Oh yeah.
But because of that, I think it is a little bit boring.
I could see where people think it's boring. This was so I've been really working on. I talk about it all the time. Is the like tunnel vision of a movie, letting the movie envelop my whole everything.
Right.
And you can work on it. Like you can even a movie you're not enjoying. Like if you like, you can make it do that to you. Yeah. And I've been doing that. And so like I've been working on that and like getting every movie I watch to envelop me like that.
That's why I smoke before I watch a movie, because it helps.
Oh, see, I didn't have a problem with this one. Because like that first scene, just listening to him narrate the whole time, I love narrate. Like
I love narration.
So great.
It's so good.
Yeah. So just listening to him and the prep work and just him being bored and everything, I'm just like take my body, like come on, and it was just all black and just straight movie.
Yeah. I am having a lot of issues getting drawn in because I have a newborn.
Yeah.
And he is always fucking crying. No, I'm just kidding. He's usually pretty good, but he's still so young that he's not making it through 2-hour movies without at least fussing.
Yeah.
But that's why I do hit a little smoke right before, because it really helps draw you in. It really just brings all your emotions to 11, you know? But for this movie, it worked against it, because I think I would have enjoyed it more not high, because being high, I was like, this is pretty boring. Mm-hmm. And
fair enough.
Let's give our score and we'll go into spoilers. So what'd you give it?
I give it 8.5.
Damn, I gave it a 6. Uh-huh. So like I agree with dude. I do have some tonal issues that I'll talk about a little bit more in the spoiler review. One scene in particular really irked me. But I don't want to talk about it without spoilers. So we'll meet in the middle, give it a 7? 7.5?
7.5.
Okay.
Because I think that this is what I want, before we go to spoilers, I think that this movie, so like when Leon the Professional came out, it wasn't a big hit. Nobody liked it. And now it's a cult classic. I think that's what this movie, in 15 years, people are going to be talking about this movie like they talk about Leon the Professional.
Maybe.
That's what I think is going to happen. Personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll probably enjoy it on a second viewing.
Yeah.
Will I ever watch it? Well, we'll see. So yeah, 7.5. We'll end up giving it together. Next week, if you're bowing out now before the spoilers, we're gonna watch Willow Creek, which is a found footage Bigfoot movie. But apparently it's like one of the best found footage movies ever.
Okay.
We were trying to think of fall-y movies. Fall kind of goes with Bigfoot.
Yeah, he said fall, and I was like, what about a Bigfoot movie?
We thought of other fall movies that just aren't streaming anywhere, so we had to give them up. They were better than this.
Yeah.
But next week, like, it's going to be easy. The next week we're going to watch Songbird and Snakes.
The week after that.
What? And the week after that, we'll be watching Godzilla -1.
Wait. Hold on. No, next week we're watching not Breaking Dawn.
Oh, wait, yeah. No, next week we're watching Blue Beetle for the main movie.
Yes. So we have Blue Beetle, and then we have
Willow Creek.
Creek, which is our rewind review.
Right, I always forget. It just seemed, because it's newer, it seemed like a main movie. But you're right, it's a rewind. It came out in like 2015, 2014, something like that. So no, the rewinds are still going to be hard the next 2 weeks. I don't know what I was talking about.
We had other ones that we can watch. He's just refusing to. We'll watch them.
Yeah. Well, once we get into December, we'll have to watch Halloween or Christmas movies like Home Alone.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I watched the first episode of Santa Clauses too, this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that?
Show's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, they got everyone back.
Yeah. And the head elf, she's going on, like she goes on the crumple clause. It's... or whatever. So she is mandatory, has to take a vacation, and she doesn't want to because she's like, in charge. And because right when she leaves, Tim Allen's Santa Claus is like, okay, my son's the next Santa. We're going to start training him right when she leaves. And that's how the first episode ends.
Oh. Okay, so yeah, next week, Willow Creek, Mockingjay Part 1 and 2, and we're going to watch Blue Beetle as the main movie.
Yeah.
And then... spoilers for the weeks ahead. We will be watching Songbird and Snakes, and we will be going to the theaters and watching Godzilla -1, and I'm fucking pumped.
Both of them. They're both in theaters.
Yeah. But it's going to be a week apart.
Yeah.
And then I think, are you going to start Monarch this week?
Is it out?
I think it came out yesterday.
Oh. Yeah.
It either came out yesterday or it comes out this week, so we could at least watch an episode or two. I don't know how many are dropping.
Apple comes out on
Is it weekly?
a weekly basis.
Okay. So yeah. Thank you all for listening. Podcast on Mondays. Also video on Monday.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I'll get the video done on Monday. It was until freaking like Wednesday this week because it took it was like 18 hours to upload the mother effort to YouTube.
Damn.
Because it was a short episode too, so I can't even imagine a longer one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out TikTok. It's way more complicated than I thought. Really, if you're already watching, you probably won't watch our TikToks. That's really just to get other people in or see snippets to watch the podcast.
Yeah.
TikTok and YouTube, just The Reels Podcast. That is what they are under. We have both of them. So,
nice.
Yeah.
We're going to be using my face to bring people in.
No.
I'm a solid 6.
Yeah, so I'll definitely have the video done up as well on Mondays.
All right. So, yeah. Thanks for everyone watching. Hope to see you next week. For everyone that wants to see have the spoiler review for The Killers, we'll go right into that. Mm-hmm. The Killer. All right. So, he fucks up a hit in the beginning of this movie. And that's what this movie's about, essentially. Is whoever he works for is basically tying up loose ends. And they need to kill him because he missed a hit. I don't know. It doesn't quite make sense.
Well, you find out at the end
that the client was like,
they offer a service like, you can tie up all the loose ends, and so then they go to his house
and attack his woman.
Yeah, because he wasn't there.
Yeah, and he basically sets out on a revenge tour, just like John Wick did with his dog.
Everyone who was involved, pretty much.
Now, the part that really takes me out of this movie is the fight with the dude in Florida, the big dude. Mm-hmm. Because it's just so over the top.
It's insane, man.
Like, it's a good fight.
It is.
I will say it's a good fight. But because the rest of the movie is so fucking serious and the tone is realistic, gritty, with some humor. Because
it's dark humor.
Yeah, it is dark humor. I feel like that is still realistic. Like, people aren't moping around being psychos or like being moping around like Batman, or even being like a cold, calculated killer like this dude without some humor. Like, humor is just it is realistic. People joke about stuff, like that's how some people cope with things.
Yeah.
So the humor didn't take me out of it. This ridiculous choreographed fight took me out of it.
It was insane, dude.
Yeah. I mean, the punches are so, like, they're just wild.
And they're brutal.
Yeah.
Like, when he gets punched, both of them, even though this dude's way bigger than Michael Fassbender, even Michael Fassbender's punches to him, I'm like, these motherfuckers would have been knocked out ages ago.
I mean, Michael Fassbender
gets effed up.
Yeah, he gets fucked up. They show a picture, or he's like all bruised up afterwards in the airport. Uh-huh. Like, he would not look like that. He would look like a fucking...
His head would be swollen.
It would be like this fucking big.
Yeah,
because he is taking massive punches to
I
the
also
face.
think, though, it's also, like, kind of a comedic thing, too, though, because it's so over... It's, like, so over the top. It's insane.
Yeah.
And, it is pretty freaking... I liked it, though. I thought it was fun. And
I mean, it's a good fight.
And
but...
it's like, what if all of my... what if all of your efforts fail, like, to prevent this? And that's what happens. Like, he gets caught. Where do you get caught? And that's what happens. And he's like, I don't want to deal with that again.
That dude was huge.
He was huge, yeah.
Like, when he uppercuts Michael Fassbender, he gives him a left hook, and then he uppercuts him. The motherfucker dead.
Yeah.
Because this dude was so big.
Yeah.
And that is where the movie lost me. And, like, a 6, I feel like, is respectable, because the movie is a little bit boring. It is not everyone's cup of tea.
It is definitely not everyone's cup of tea, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's just Fincher. Fincher's not everyone's cup of tea, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And then that whole sequence, there's just multiple things I have problems with. The dude has a big old pit bull that he sedated before he went in. Michael Fassbender sedated, but he didn't give it enough because he was trying to guess the weight. He didn't want to kill the dog.
Yeah. Yeah, because he only kills the target. That was like one of the things he kept saying over and over again.
Well, he wants to only kill the target. He ends up killing other people, but he wouldn't kill the dog after being this cold and calculated. Was weird to me. And the dog wakes up and ends up chasing him. I can't believe this cold, calculated killer didn't shoot the dog. That took me out of it, and it happened right after the fight. And then he lights up a Molotov, and he throws it at the house, and it goes straight into the doggy door. Like, it was an expert throw, like a 1 in a million throw. And I was like, this is crazy. And it all happened back to back to back.
The window.
It went through the fucking doggy door. So the doggy door, and then there was a glass door that he closed that the dog broke through, and it goes right through that fucking hole. Is a 1 in a million throw. And that really ruined the movie for me.
That's crazy.
I do love the music, though. Throughout the whole entire movie.
It's all from one band.
Oh, I'm talking about the score.
Oh, okay.
It's like you're hearing sound in your head, you know, like when your ears are muffled the entire time, and then it kind of just builds, and then it goes low again, and then it builds. It was super strange, but I fucking loved it. I think Michael Fassbender does a great job, but Tilda Swinton does a fantastic job too.
She always does.
She really does, but like I believe that she could be a fucking assassin too.
Yeah, she could be an assassin in real life.
Yeah. I think that's my favorite scene is when they're having dinner together.
It's a good scene.
Yeah, it's good.
It was nice to show the variety of people who could do this, you know, because you have like the guy who's just like crazy in the guy,
the
big dude, and like he's just nuts, but he obviously doesn't make as much money as Michael Fassbender does either, or he just hides it better or spends it all.
Well, she said that he's a fucking psychopath too, and that she didn't agree with his way of doing things. So maybe he just doesn't have that upper client base yet.
Yeah, because it's insinuated that Michael Fassbender pulls in at least 6 figures every hit.
Yeah, I mean, he's got tons of money.
Yeah. And so does Tilda Swinton's character for sure.
Yeah, and he does it because he's like a robotic, kind of like likes I don't want to say he likes to kill people, but he likes the monotony of the job, maybe. She is doing it because she wants to live, like she's living the life, you know? I thought it was weird that he didn't kill the client.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, so initially I gave it 8.5 because I thought it was weird. But then I thought about it, and I almost bumped it up to a 9 because it made more sense because he doesn't.
The dude didn't know.
The dude didn't know. He had no idea what was going on and everything. And plus, before he goes in, this guy's like he's like an Elon Musk or the dude from Facebook, Jesse Eisen.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg, yeah. That's another Fincher movie, The Social Network.
Yeah.
So he's that level rich, and so it'd be a hard person to get rid of and get away with. And he says it beforehand. He's like, I don't know if I could do that. Like, I don't know if I could get away with it. But then he just wanted the guy to know, hey, this is how easy. It took me a day to get to you, just so you know. And then he kind of realizes that it was almost just like an insurance policy. So everyone that he's already killed that runs the organization, he's already killed them. He's like, this guy didn't really do it. He's like, he really had nothing to do with it. So nothing to do with his wife getting beat, at least. So he kind of lets him go. And I think that the guy is double, like, it's presumably his first time paying for something like this. And so he's not going to say anything because he will get incriminated for hiring a hitman.
Yeah, I just thought it was weird. And then he retires.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, well, I mean, he could have a lot of time off in between hits, technically.
Well, I mean, he just talked. So at the beginning of the movie, he talked about how to be a hitman, you have to be one of the few and not one of the many. And then at the end, he's talking about how he can see himself being one of the many. And right before the movie ends, his eye twitches.
It does, yeah.
So like maybe they were trying to like maybe get a sequel. I don't know.
Fincher doesn't do sequels.
Yeah, but Netflix does. They don't care if he's there.
That'd be terrible. I wouldn't do that. I'm hoping that this movie, I give Michael Fassbender a nom if you want, but I hope it gets him like let him lead more movies, because this movie he really is he's such a great actor.
Yeah, he's very good.
And it'd be nice to just get him to lead something. More dramas.
And it's crazy that people don't like him.
Yeah.
They won't watch stuff with him.
He was so great in as Magneto. He has this movie. I'm going to look it up because I don't remember. I had to watch it for one of my film history classes. It's fantastic. It's about him. It is not English.
Really?
Yeah. He's like just a guy. He meets this girl and he has like an affair with the daughter. Fish Tank from 2009. It's so good. It's got a 91 on Rotten. And it's just this really great drama that you really got to watch. And the girl that they got, I think it's a book, and the director was the author, maybe. The director pulled this girl out of the bad. It's like a John Connor. What's his name? The kid from Terminator 2. It's that scenario. She wasn't an actress.
Edward Furlong.
Yeah, it's like Edward Furlong situation. Just plucked her. She saw her on the street and she was like, "That is the character I wrote." Her plucked her and was like, "You're gonna play this like daughter who's struggling and like kind of like a coming of age movie, but your mom's like a drug addicted, blah blah blah." And her mom starts seeing Michael Fassbender. She has an affair with Michael Fassbender, and it all gets all sorts of complicated and whatever. It's super freaking good, super good. And that's like one of Michael Fassbender's first roles, and you can just tell how incredible he is.
Yeah, he is good. Him and James McAvoy, both very good actors. Neither have done much after X-Men. It's crazy. Like leading men stuff.
Yeah.
And they're both excellent actors. James McAvoy in Split was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, no. James McAvoy, yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else he was like.
Yeah, the thing with James McAvoy is like it was always like, is he gonna be a great actor? Like, in Split, he's a great actor.
Yeah. I think James McAvoy does a lot of plays though in Europe.
Oh, does he?
I think so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get to see hopefully they get some kind of stuff because they are both excellent. I want another David Alien movie. It'll never happen.
I just want Michael Fassbender to act in like those like George Clooney dramas. You know what I'm saying? Just take George Clooney's part.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. So, yeah, next week, Willow Creek, The Mockingjay Part 1 and 2, and Blue Beetle. What do you think? How are you thinking Blue Beetle is going to be? I have very low expectations, so it has to be better than my expectations.
I think it will be entertaining. Do I think it will be like awesome? No. Honestly, I'm going into it just with the eyes of being entertained because I think there's going to be some cool action moments. Other than that, I don't think I'm going to care for him as a character.
Yeah.
Or I think there's going to be too much comedy for me in that. You
better get used to that. With James Gunn running things, it's going to stay like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Like I said, podcast comes out on Monday. Hopefully, video comes out on Monday. I'm blanking.
Willow Creek.
Willow Creek.
Willow Creek is our rewind review, even though it's not that old. Because we're trying to keep it into a fall-y kind of category, which is kind of difficult. And then what's it called? Mockingjay Part 1 and 2 as our series showdown. And then Blue Beetle just came out on streaming.
Yeah. All right.
So watch all those movies if you want to join us.
Yeah, follow along. We should start doing that. Like, you should watch the movies with us. I feel like...
Well, yeah, because then you can enjoy and then the spoiler reveals and, we'll be like, oh, this moment in this movie was so cool. And you'd be like, yeah, that moment was cool.
Yes, and I don't know how podcasts work. Like, can they comment on podcasts?
See, I don't know. I look on Spotify for comments and they don't happen, but they can definitely comment on YouTube.
Yeah, so even if you don't watch the video and you want to comment, you could even have suggestions for, like, we're struggling with rewind movies. Make sure it's streaming somewhere. Throw a comment on the YouTube. Give us a like. And follow us still, too, because it'll help grow. I think once we get a decent base, we'll be able to have them pick our movies for us. I think it's going to be more fun.
Yeah. So once we do, I already had this stuff planned. I won't talk about that right now, but I'll talk to you about it.
But yes, so even if you watch it on podcasts, go to the YouTube page, go to the TikTok, follow, subscribe, do all that bullshit that everyone wants you always to do. And we appreciate it. We really do. Thank you all for listening, and check us out next week.